Do you feel overpowered and controlled by your emotions? Negative emotions like anxiety, fear, shame, self-pity, and even sadness can dominate us and dominate our lives. They ran me for many years, and I believed that it was merely my lot in life to continue to be controlled and overrun with my emotions. Until I finally understood that I do have power over my feelings. I realized that I can intentionally change my emotional state whenever I choose. Everything in creation is energy, including our emotions. God made it that way. And all energy vibrates at a different frequency. The lighter and the higher frequencies are love, light, joy, hope. And then the darker and lower, the heavier frequencies are the lower level emotions like fear, shame, and grief. Now, this is not New Age philosophy. It's a biblically based principle, and it's centered in scientific research. We are powerful, divine creators made in God's likeness. So we have the power to change our reality by changing our energy in each moment. We can focus our attention using energy to bring about change emotionally, physically, mentally, and spiritually. And here's what I mean. We are both physical and spiritual beings. We're created in the image of God, and we reflect His nature. He breathed His Spirit into us, and we connect to the things of the spirit realm through our spirit. We live on earth where the physical and the spiritual realm coexist simultaneously. But we are spirit beings with the capacity to connect with the spiritual realm at a very deep level. And it's important that we understand that we're both influencing and being influenced by the spirit realm at all times throughout our lives, day in and night. We are never disconnected from the spiritual realm or from its influence. So what we put out into the spiritual realm, the frequency at which we vibrate, and the things we focus on, and the things we speak into the atmosphere carry a vibration, a frequency that resonates into the spiritual realm and draws more of that same frequency back to us. So that means that whatever energy we carry and the words we speak are going to attract more of that same thing to us, whether it be positive, higher level energy or emotions like joy and peace, or more negative, lower level ones like shame, fear, and self-pity. Since the spirit realm powerfully reproduces what we are focused on, we've got to be mindful and intentional about what we're drawing to us and reproducing within and around us. And if we're creating an atmosphere of fear or shame within and around us, we can be certain that we're going to draw more of that to us. We've got to learn to discipline our thoughts and elevate the frequency of our body's vibration to change our reality. So connecting to higher frequencies that entrain and overcome us so that we can move into a higher realm and radiate out of that place is an incredibly important spiritual discipline for us to discover and practice. Then instead of radiating fear, shame, guilt, doom, and gloom at lower frequencies, we can radiate love and joy at higher frequencies and as often as we choose. But we've got to cultivate it intentionally. God Himself is pure, unadulterated light. Isn't that beautiful? He's the highest frequency there is. So the highest human frequencies are then love, peace, and joy. And those are the three emotions that Jesus left with us. In the book of John in the Bible, Jesus told the disciples, He said, number one, He said, my peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. And that's John 14:27. The second thing He says is love one another as I have loved you. That's John 13:34. And then the third thing he says, I've told you this so that joy, my joy, may be in you, and that your joy may be complete. And that's John 15:11. Joy, peace, and love. The three main things that Jesus leaves us with are joy, peace, and love. And they're also the first three fruits of the Spirit from Galatians 5:22. We can attune ourselves to these higher frequencies by being intentional and about connecting and aligning with the energy of love, joy, and peace by meditating on His Word, by connecting with His heart, with our heart, and being spirit to spirit in God's presence. And as we practice these spiritual disciplines, we can become proficient at connecting to and attuning ourselves to these higher frequencies that are in the atmosphere. And then they entrain and overcome us so that we can resonate at these higher frequencies instead of being stuck at those lower level ones. It's our choice in each moment. There are many different frequencies we can attune to and connect with in the spiritual realm. We decide which ones we're going to tune into and resonate with. One of my favorite Bible teachers is Mike Parsons, and he says this. He says, the cry from God's heart is the sound coming out of heaven and is looking for us to resonate and connect with it and say yes to it. We follow His sound. God's heart calls us into sonship, into full maturity, to understand the way He does things so that we can join Him in doing those things with Him. Then Mike Parsons explains that our bodies pick up whatever is around us. But we are more sensitive to pick up the negative frequencies because they're more familiar to us rather than picking up the ones available to us in the higher frequencies, because we aren't as in tuned or attuned to those. And we're not as familiar with them. We're so used to feeling awful. We're so used to feeling our negative emotions that we're not as in tune with the higher ones. Yet, if we practice attuning to the higher frequencies of God, we are able to connect with and resonate with them easier and more often. It's kind of like tuning our instrument every day. The key is that we can connect, that we cannot change our energy, our frequency through a religious or a logical mindset. We have to connect with our heart. We have to attune our heart to connect with God's, and the change comes out of our intimate relationship with God. It doesn't come out of trying to make ourselves shift into another state on our own. We must stop connecting with negative energy because it attracts more of the same, and it draws to us more of the lower frequencies and negative energy, which makes us physically, mentally, and emotionally unwell. And the result is illness and disease. It is so important that we understand what disrupts our vibration. And it's crucial that we have self-awareness and do the inner work so that we can understand what triggers us to resonate at lower frequencies. And when we can recognize those, we can also transform them into a higher frequency as we connect and are in relationship with God. When we learn how to access the higher frequencies and live in those emotional states, we are living in intimate connection with the Father in love, peace, and joy. The highest frequencies. We can live out of the most powerful place that He created us to live from when we do that. And it is from that place that everything else flows into our life. So as we radiate and we come into the right frequency and radiating light and into our true identity and our sonship, creation will come into alignment with our sonship, and we can create wellness and wholeness within our own body, our own spirit, and our mind, and also create wellness, wholeness, and harmony in the atmosphere all around us. We are highly influential, powerful, divine beings, and we must be intentional about attuning to and resonating with the things of God, the Spirit of God, the frequency of God. Rest, joy, peace, and love on a moment-by-moment basis. And we do get to choose. And our health and our well-being depend on our choice as well as our greater atmosphere. And when we energetically access the things of God, we create wellness and wholeness in our mind and our body. Though it sounds complex, it's actually a simple principle. And with commitment, intentionality, and practice, we can learn to tune our instrument to the higher frequencies of light, love, joy, and peace, and live there undisturbed by the intruders, the darker, lower level emotions that disrupt our wellness and our harmony and steal from us. So which will you choose? Are you influencing your environment, or is your environment influencing you?